What should you bring to a psych hospital? Hey, what's up guys, it's me, the Psychiatric. If you're planning on going to a psych hospital soon, you might be wondering like what you should bring and maybe what you should not bring. As someone who's worked in a psych hospital for over 6 years at this point, I'm gonna go over things you should bring and things you shouldn't bring, and the reasons why and why not. I'm also gonna go over some tips and also a lot of common questions I get from my patients. Let's talk about it. Okay, so let's start with things you should bring. First of all, bring your ID card and your insurance card. Now, these are pretty obvious things that you want to bring, but obviously the hospital needs to verify your identity and also verify your insurance so they don't bill you for the cost of your stay. As I'm sure you guys know, hospital stays can cost so much freaking money, so it's very important to have your insurance pay as much of it as they can. And then also, you should bring your own clothing. Unless you want to be walking around in a hospital gown the whole time, you should probably bring your own clothes. But it should be like comfortable and safe clothing. So when I say comfortable clothing, I mean like maybe t-shirts, sweatpants, socks, shoes. Honestly, you could even bring pajamas if you wanted to. But the only thing is they all have to be considered safe. So that pretty much means like nothing that has strings or like drawstrings in it. So if you want to wear a hoodie, make sure it doesn't have like a drawstring. Same thing goes for like sweatpants. If you're bringing shoes, most likely they're not going to allow you to use the shoelaces. So maybe you could bring like slip-ons or something. For the socks, make sure they're not too long. Reason being like, long socks, someone could, tie it around certain areas of their body and, no belts either for like the same reason. Not only can someone use belts to hurt themselves, but they can also use it to hurt others too. And avoid any kind of like sharp accessories. Like you probably shouldn't bring anything that has like metal studs on it or anything. And also don't bring anything that's like fancy or expensive because there is a chance it might get lost or even like damaged. At my hospital at least, every patient room is like shared. So if your roommate isn't like all there in the head, they might end up like taking your things either on purpose or by accident. So leave anything valuable at home for sure. And then regarding toiletries, you should bring things like maybe your own toothbrush, your own toothpaste. The hospital does supply these things, but they're pretty like cheap generic versions of things. You probably shouldn't bring an electronic toothbrush though, because most hospitals don't allow you to like charge your things or use any electronics for that matter. Bring your own deodorant if you want to smell good. Hospital does supply their own deodorant as well though. Anything sharp like razors or nail clippers, leave those at home. You could even bring your own like shampoo and body wash if you want. Oh, and don't forget chapstick. At my hospital, if a patient's complaining of like dry lips, we don't have chapstick, we just have them use like Vaseline. So unless you want to be putting like Vaseline on your lips like this, just bring no chapstick. And then the next one that's pretty important is medications. If you're taking any medications at home, you should just bring them to the hospital with you. Now I'm talking like medications are actually necessary, like maybe diabetes medications, high blood pressure medications, any kind of inhalers. Because sometimes psych hospitals, they won't carry that specific type of medication. So if you bring your own, they might allow you to use your own. Like sometimes I'll have patients come in and they're taking like Wegovy injections every week or like testosterone injections every week. My psych hospital doesn't carry those medications. So if the patients brought those in, they could probably use their own. And also sometimes the nurses will want to look at like the prescription information on the bottle just to verify like what date you picked it up and stuff like that. Now you could also bring any kind of like lighter supplements that you take. Like maybe you take a multivitamin or like creatine or something daily. Like, yeah, you could bring those, but a lot of times they're probably not going to let you use those. Just because there's like so many potential drug interactions with psych medications. So if you can do without certain supplements for a couple of days while you're in the hospital, they'll probably just leave them at home. And then lastly, you should just bring some general like comfort items. Like maybe if you want to bring a journal, just make sure it's like soft covered and not hard covered. And there's no like spiral around the binding. You could also bring soft covered books. You could bring family photos or photos of your dog if that helps you. A lot of hospitals, and my hospital at least, doesn't allow patients to use their own blankets, so I don't know about blankets. And same goes for like pillows too. Okay, so that covers the general gist of items you should bring to a psych hospital. So now let's go into items you should not bring to a psych hospital. Honestly, any kind of electronics, most hospitals aren't gonna let you use. Like my hospital doesn't even allow patients to use their own cell phone, but you should still bring your cell phone with you because they might allow you to like take out phone numbers just in case you want to call people like from the hospital phone. But after that, they're going to have it locked away until you discharge and then they'll give it back to you. But yeah, they definitely don't allow any other electronics like tablets, laptops, earbuds, headphones, not even like smartwatches, since, you know, patients can be like texting and stuff through their watches. A lot of the reasoning for this is just like safety and privacy, like to protect patient information. You don't want another patient like taking out their phone and taking pictures of the other patients and posting it online and stuff like that. And then obviously don't bring any weapons or sharp objects like scissors, knives, and these are definitely for safety reasons. As I mentioned earlier, don't bring anything that's valuable like cash, jewelry, pretty much anything you can't afford to lose. Don't bring it to the hospital because there's always a chance you might lose it and like never get it back. At my hospital, there is like a reimbursement policy thing where like if the hospital loses your stuff, they have to pay you back, but like it's better just not to get in that process in the first place. And then the next one is also obvious. Don't bring any drugs or alcohol. At my hospital, if a patient brings in like weed, we literally just flush it down the toilet and like don't give it back to them. So just leave all that stuff at home. And also one more thing, don't bring your car unless you're sure your car can stay parked in the parking lot for days without getting towed. It's probably better to just like Uber there or have somebody drop you off. Now moving on to just some general tips I have for bringing items to a hospital. The first tip is to label everything that you bring. Honestly, a lot of times staff members can like misplace your items and then like they either lose it or they don't know which patient brought in that item. Like somebody will bring in all their stuff in a bag and then, you know, a staff member sets the bag off to the side and then they forget about it until later on. And they're like, oh, wait, who is this for again? So yeah, I would label everything that you bring in with like your name on it at least. Another tip is to check your hospital's policy ahead of time. Some hospitals will actually differ on their rules regarding what you can and can't bring. Like I believe I heard once that another hospital allows their patients to use cell phones. So yeah, just look up the rules before you go. The next tip is to pack lightly. Don't bring like 5,000 suitcases worth of like clothing and stuff. It's gonna take forever to log everything in and forever to log everything back out to you. It's not like you're going on a vacation, so leave most of the stuff that you don't need at home. You can always have someone drop you off things you need later on, so like you don't have to worry about bringing everything you need all at once. Okay, now let's get into some common questions I get regarding what to bring to psych hospitals. Can I bring snacks or food? Some hospitals let you bring in like sealed snacks or even like sealed food, but my hospital definitely doesn't allow any of that, so check with your hospital policy first. What if I forget something? Hospitals usually provide like almost everything you need, like clothing, socks, bed sheets, pillows. But like I mentioned earlier, you can always have someone drop something you need off later on while you're in the psych hospital. Are my medications safe? Yes, staff will store them in a safe location. Do hospitals provide laundry? Yes, my hospital does laundry for the patients every day. Will I have privacy? It's going to be very limited privacy, because at my hospital, you share rooms with other patients and you also share bathrooms with other patients. And there's going to be staff members checking on you every 15 minutes, so you pretty much have very, very limited privacy. So that wraps up what to bring and what not to bring to a psych hospital. Yeah, there's a lot of rules, but like it's pretty much all for like safety purposes. If you have any questions regarding psych hospitals, feel free to leave a comment down below. If you found this video helpful, make sure to like and subscribe. I do videos on like general psych stuff. I am also on TikTok and Instagram if you want to follow me over there at the Psychiatric David C. I do medication management for adults living in California. If you're interested, there's a link down below. And with that, your mental health just leveled up. You're welcome.